everyone. What a quarter it's been so far. Damien Cooley needs no introduction other than we really need to know what's happening in the real estate market, Damien, at the moment. I'm seeing different things happening in different price ranges and different areas. You're all over Sydney. What's your take on what's been happening with prices, supply?
The conversation around the market pulling back has been a lot more at the forefront of conversation, I think, in the last little while. But because we get to see a really broad cross-section of the market, what we're noticing is good quality properties sell well regardless of what market we're in. But there are still a lot of buyers out there, Rick. There's a lot more property going to auction this year than there was last year. So the volume of property is up.
What sort of percentages would you say same time?
February 2021, we had 300 odd auctions.
Yeah.
February 2022, we had more than 500. March was a lot closer to being the same. Easter is a little bit later this year, or it's about mid-April. So what we're seeing, Jewish Passover, we're seeing the big run into that period right now. So a lot of people trying to get on the market and get sold before that period. There's a couple of things coming up that people are starting to think about in potential interest rate rises. We've got a federal election coming up. These are things that do have the potential to affect the market. But what we're seeing right now is that the market is very resilient. I mean, we're still averaging almost 5 bidders at every auction that is being conducted. The big difference in 22 opposed to 21, a lot more properties selling prior. So what that's telling me is that really you might still have 4 or 5 bidders, but you got one really good, strong buyer, and that buyer is either trying to purchase before auction or the agent's trying to wrap it up before auction.
I'm seeing a lot of buyers saying we're going to wait, the market's going to change. In my 32 years, there are changes in the market, and I have seen where the market has changed in some price ranges, 5 to 10%.
Yep.
Maybe 11 or 12, but I haven't seen a 30, 40% pullback.
No.
And as I try to explain, or we try to explain to buyers, is if you can pick up a 5 or 10% saving, if you're here and the market still continues to climb, it might go 30% before it comes back 20.
So the only thing that I would say to that, Rick, is that we also have never seen coronavirus. We've never been in a lockdown. We've never seen the biggest real estate boom in the history of Australia, and we've never seen interest rates below 2%. So there is an argument against the growth.
Yes.
However, in my opinion, I do feel like our market is still in a good position to do well. And at the end of the day, people look for the home that they want to live in. Borders are reopening.
Yes.
Australia is seen as a safe haven, and I personally have quite a positive outlook on the market moving forward.
You made just off camera, you made a comment, which I agree with you. There is a lot of money out there.
There's a lot of money.
And that money is not going to dry up overnight. We're seeing a lot of that come out of the stock market and go into property at the end of the day. I have to agree with you. If it's a good property, it's always going to do well. You take some of the suburbs, I mean, pick say 2026 Bondi at the moment. If you got a freestanding house to sell, you've probably got 1 or 2 on the market. There's no competition.
Yeah.
If you've got a 70s style apartment, you've probably got 16 at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think if you're thinking of selling, watch what the cycle is, or talk to a good agent in the marketplace to try and get some advice. But I'm just curious to see what trends you have seen so far. And you've seen more stock come on, and it seems to have been sold reasonably well.
I reckon my strong advice is think about who your buyer is for your property. And the strongest buyer pool right now, in my opinion, without doubt, is the downsizer.
Yeah, true.
The person who has sold their home for a significant amount of money, who's looking at downsizing to either a high-end apartment or a smaller home, that buyer is almost, you virtually can't compete against them in an auction room for them, because they're cashed up, they're ready to buy, and they want to buy the home that they see themselves in for the rest of their life.
One of our clients asked me to reach out to you and ask you, you're auctioning a lot of commercial property, industrial. How are you seeing those markets? I mean, we've talked about residential, but how are we seeing that commercial?
Industrial market is unbelievably strong, incredibly strong. Retail market is still good. Office market's pretty good. But I think really those markets have taken the office market particularly has like come back a little bit off the back of the whole work from home scenario. Retail market has not been as good. We've got a lot more people shopping online. Coronavirus obviously affected the people's ability to go out and go into a store and shop. Restaurant trade has been greatly affected by lockdown periods, but I feel like the wheels are just starting to turn again for these businesses. And when the wheels start to turn for those businesses, then hopefully that will result in a better outcome for those people who are looking at selling those types of properties that have those businesses as tenants.
Are you seeing in residential what we're noticing at the moment, just with clients getting quotes for building and the cost of building going up, materials virtually non-existent, so to speak? We're seeing a huge premium for turnkey properties. Is that a fair statement across Sydney or? Yeah,
no, look, I think that traditionally everybody has wanted to buy the unrenovated home, to renovate it themselves and add their own touches of what they love. More people are becoming time poor. I actually think there's a lot more value in some cases than buying something that's finished. Because you don't have to go through the headaches. But two, like you just said, Rick, cost of building has skyrocketed. Cost of going out for dinner has skyrocketed. Cost of coffee has skyrocketed. Cost of everything has gone up.
Good opportunities have gone up.
They're still cheap. They're still really cheap. But what we call that inflation. Okay, so what happens when we have inflation? Interest rates go up. So it is a balancing act in the economy of working out the best levers to make sure that the economy stays in a positive way. And unfortunately for you and me, that's up to somebody else to make those decisions. And we worry about the things that we can control. I think our market is resilient. I think our market is in a good position. And I think from a buyer's point of view, for somebody who's looking at buying right now, who may well be watching this video, I never try and pick markets. For me, it's not about, is the market the right time to buy? Should I wait 3 months or, should I buy now? For me, it's more about, where do I want to live? What's the home I want to live in? And if that's the right house for me, I'm going to buy that house. If I'm an investor, sure, I might sit on the fence a bit and try and wait. And if it's not the right thing, I'll let it go. But if I'm selling, equally, what's my motivation around selling? Am I selling to move onto a different stage in my life? Am I selling because I want to downsize or upsize? What's my motivation around selling? They're the real drivers of why to buy and why to sell real estate.
It's interesting, we spoke about the stock market and some stocks we're holding. We're no experts. Get other financial
We're really
advice. Experts. But you buy a stock, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, you check it regularly. People forget that real estate is long term. It is medium to long term. So when an opportunity comes up, if it suits you, go for it. So many people get concerned, I find, about is it going to drop 2%, 3%. You get caught up in the micro, don't you? Anyway, look.
The other hard part about that is that you can see the stock market every day.
That's true.
You can't see the real estate market because property is bought on emotion.
That's true. That's very, very true. I think we're going to have a good year. The signs are there. Who knows whether we'll get a change of government. We can't control that if we do or if we don't, as we couldn't control coronavirus and what it was supposed to do and didn't do. But I thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
And congratulations on all your results and how hard you work for our clients.
Thanks, mate.
We'll see you Thursday.
Sounds good.
Thanks for your time, everyone.